Alright, so we have our, where did we go here? Alright, so we have our four map frames made, and then the fifth one will be the entire thing. So now I can just show you with my masks here, as I have them, excuse me, I have them cut up, obviously the same way the map frames were labeled, bottom left, bottom right, top left, top right. Um, let's see, sat map, bottom left. So I'm gonna move this out of the way, but I'm gonna actually drag and copy it in here. And it's satellite imagery, so I'm gonna hit OK. And that is going to take forever. Why did I do that one? You know what? Let's cancel it. I'll drag the bottom left mask in, just so you can see. We just want something quick. Surface mask, hit OK. And it's going to load a lot quicker. Excuse me. And we're almost done. Alright. There we go. Now it's here somewhere. So let's see. There it is. I'll copy it in. And as you can see, that's it right there. And you could move it if it wasn't in the right location, but this imported into the correct location, and we're good to go. It's, like I said, this way to set up the map frames is probably one of the better ways. Even if you're working on small terrain or a fairly medium-sized terrain, it just makes it a lot easier because you can export just this area of the sat map or the texture map. Excuse me, and work on it in Photoshop instead of having to work on a giant 28K picture. Now you can just work on a 14K, a little bit smaller, quicker to load. You can also, when you have everything set up properly and you export your, I'll show you here. This is actually the bottom left map frame. But now, I say I had everything ready to go. I export my satellite image, export my surface masks. You want to use 6 for Armor 3 or the 5 material cells and plus a sat map. So that means you can get 5 textures per grid cell plus a satellite normal map. Or if you don't want to do the sat normals, you can have 6 textures per cell. So you would generate those layers and then convert them to PAA files. I have a BAT file. Let's see, which oops, I keep doing that. So any layers that are in here, if I click on this, it's going to go and convert all the PNG files to PAA files. And it runs multiple instances versus one line at a time. So it goes really quick. Like I said, compared to one line at a time if you were to just click this. But if you wanted to do that, you can click that, generate layers. It'll make the layers and convert them to PAA files for you. So once that is converted, you can actually launch. You can go up here and launch Bulldozer, and as long as you have this one map frame selected, it will just launch this terrain here. It won't do the whole thing. So if you do a smaller section at a time, it loads up super quick as opposed to loading the entire project up. And now if you had like millions and millions, well, if you had, say you had 1 million objects down, or say you had 2 million objects down, instead of loading up the entire terrain, say you only had 300,000 objects in this area, it would only have to load up 300,000, so it would go a lot quicker. So that's another good thing about exporting or about creating multiple map frames. The only negative side to it is that roads will not load up if you're in anything other than this bottom section, because the roads in order to load in Armor 3 have to be at 200,000 EC easting, 0 northing. So if you try to load them up in here, they're not going to work. So if you want to look at the roads, you have to click on the map frame that loads the entire project. So that's the only negative to it, but other than that, it's a really phenomenal way to get everything going. And it's really nice too, because say you have just, this is just your actual terrain here, and all of a sudden later on you want to make it bigger. Well, you could expand around it and add extra terrain. So there's a lot of bonuses to having terrain builder. It's a really good tool, and especially with the map frames and everything you can create with it. That's pretty much everything. So any comments you can leave, and I'll try to answer them. If you think you want sample configs, oh, by the way, there's a lot of configs out there that are just utter garbage. I don't want to put anybody down, but if you're going to use anything, grab the configs from the Atlas tutorial that Jake Rod put out. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. Very smart guy. I would grab them. A lot of people are just grabbing the configs straight out of A3, like Altus Terrain or Stratus, which they inherit from CA World. I wouldn't do that if I were you, especially if you're new. You want to just grab a small config that inherits from one of the already made islands. No need to reinvent the wheel. And this way you make sure that you're getting everything in there right. And then also you only want to change what you need to. So you're not going to have a super huge config. All right.